I figured I'd give you guys a look at my pollen traps I've been collecting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. I thought I had 9. Guess it's 8. That's okay. Yeah, I'll take one outside. I'll take a couple of them outside so that I can show you. Right back. Okay, I got it set up kind of to show you all. Okay, so here is how it's normally set up. Here's your box of bees, you know, your hive, whatever. This takes the place of your bottom board. So the bees come, well, see, now what I'll do is I flip my bottom boards over and set them underneath this so that they've got a little bit of a landing board. But what to do is the bees will come in, and they come in through here, and then they're coming up through, oh, I forget what number screen welded wire it is. I'll show you. It might be this slice. The welded wire screen that I got, which I think it's 1/4 inch. I know that's not what they call it. Was to potentially build some pollen traps. And then I got a bunch more from Harris and didn't do it. So, you know, you've got your hive up here and your bees are coming in. Now these are your escapes. They are also how you can kind of control how much pollen you're taking, and I'll explain in a minute. Let me kind of set you up. Okay, I think that'll be okay. Okay, so you've got your bees coming in that bottom entrance. Then they come up through these screens. Yeah, there it is. See, there's a screen here that everything falls down into, and you've got your catch bin and your escape in case any bees get down there. I think that's about the right place. But this is where your pollen catch is at. And it slides in the back in the bottom. So the bees come in and they come up through here, and then they come up through this tray. Now I've got some that have a secondary screen on this inside lip so that it's a double screen, you know, like that. Now, and I don't know, you know, so it sits kind of like this. So I don't know if it's been removed from some of these or not, but some of them don't have the 2 screens. So the bees will come up and come through this screen, and then that pollen falls down through this other screen. Sorry. And then you come in and collect it. Now, how you kind of control the amount is once your bees are used to going through, and like about 2 or 3 days so that they're trained good, I will pull off one of these, because these are your escapes, and the only reason you kind of have these tubes on here is so the bees don't go in the escape. So after a few days, when I only want to take half of the pollen, I'll pull one of these out, and then I put a piece of tape over the other one, and then I just let the bees go wherever they want to. Now, the bees learn pretty quick that they can get in this hole with their pollen. So, a good portion of them start going that way pretty quick. Now, a lot of the others, when this gets kind of backed up by traffic, or even if you keep the tube and the bees learn, you know, and you do that sort of a thing, so there's a lot of bees going in that, it'll get backed up with traffic, and bees kind of get frustrated, so more of them will turn and go in through the other side because they know that they can get in. At least that's kind of how it seems. The one thing is, you usually want to come out and collect your pollen every evening, because pollen is damp and with, you know, damper evenings and stuff, it can mold pretty easy, and you don't want that. You want to go out pretty much every day. Now if you're in, you know, pretty dry climate, you can, you know, go further with that. These are the same style. I think Man Lake has them. Now I think the Man Lake ones have more tubes or whatever. I'm not sure. They also cost a whole lot. These were a good price. I would buy more if he gets rid of any more. I think he realized what I was doing. I think he realized I was snagging all of his pollen traps that were the good ones. Here, I'll show you the other style I've got too. Okay, here's the other style I have. I mostly got this one from him because I thought it would be easier to replicate, and I still have that opinion. And then also, he wondered if we could convert them to a side drawer instead of a front drawer, because he runs pallets, and he was thinking about that. Now this one's a little different. Here's the tray, and it's a single unit, so the bees come in here and then they come up, and it's a little temperamental because it's kind of old, but they'll come in and then they come up through here and come up through this screen. So that's the way that works. Some wood glue. But and then how you empty it is you have to pull the drawer out from the in front. Now I noticed, unless you do that after dark, you're going to end up with bees in your pollen, because when you're pulling this drawer out, you're kind of knocking them right into it. Now it'd be better if it could actually be ran differently, but that's not the way this one's designed. Yeah, my guess is simpler design, cheaper, but you know, it doesn't give you as much control. You could even actually make this design out of an old drawer. That's actually what I was thinking of. I was wondering about old chests of drawers to get the, you know, repurposing them and stuff. Nightstand cabinets, that sort of thing. Take a nightstand cabinet, cut it up, repurpose, second hand. But I like these ones a lot better. These are the ones that I prefer, because these are the ones that I can put on and leave on, because, you know, I can, you know, if I take everything out, the majority of the bees are going to go through those top entrances. You'll still collect some, but usually after I've got them trained, I'll run it like that, and then periodically I'll swap the side so that it forces a orientation. Yeah, kind of my thing. I don't know. My guess is through that 2 or 3 hours that it takes for them to refigure it all out, you know, you collect a little bit more of the pollen. So, but as soon as my blackberries start, these are going under the hive, or at least my big hives. I'm taking in a lot of pollen. So there you go. I'll do another video on how I dry my pollen down. I've got some in the freezer that's not dried. When you collect pollen, like I mentioned, it's damp and it will mold very quickly, so you need to put it directly into your freezer if you're not drying it first. If you're drying it, you don't have to keep it in the freezer, but its benefits degrade much faster if it's not kept in the freezer. Studies have been done that as long as it's kept in the freezer at a consistent temperature, pollen is beneficial. What is it? Somewhere around a year. people will argue the fact, but that's what the smart people say, you know. I guess we like the smart people when they say the things we like. But yeah. Now it'll degrade much faster in the fridge, from my understanding, or say on the counter or stuff like that. I started doing it because of all my pollen coming in, and I would get pollen bound. You know, people say, oh, you're a good queen, I won't get caught pollen bound. I beg to differ, but that's okay. Because of how things hit, when my blackberry flow hits, blackberries must produce a lot of pollen too, because I have a lot of blackberry come in, and then as soon as the cucumbers and all the gourds and all of the broccolis and all of that types of things starts from across the street, I just get overloaded with pollen. And then all of the native that's going on at the same time, you know, sticker bushes and whatevers and what have you. There's a honeybee over there checking out my flowers. Well, there you can see her. At least when she moves. Well, you all have a blessed day. Bye. And I'll film it when I put it on the hives, so you guys can see how the bees react and stuff. They figure it out pretty quick. But I hear honeybee kicking out my sugar tank. Blessed days, everyone. Bye.